Let's turn to wealth management. It is going through one of the largest transformations in decades. Let's take a look at advice models, how they're changing, also the shift to boutique banks, and that intergenerational wealth transfer that's taking place over the next decade. Let's get a view on those changes. Jim DeCarlo is joining us from Stellan Capital. Jim, welcome. Great to have you on AusBiz. It is something of a, is it evolution or revolution that you're seeing in the wealth management business at the moment? I guess particularly as I mentioned there, you've got those changes with those advice models that are changing quite rapidly, particularly given the advent of technology.
That's right, Andrew. It's a good question. There's been a lot of change in the last few years. There's a fundamental redefinition, we think, going on in the wealth management industry. Going back a few years ago, you had two types of advisors. You had the pure financial planner who was focused mainly on the needs of savings, income planning, retirement planning, maybe pension planning, and even doing insurance. And then you had the other kind, which was just the pure broker, or the portfolio investment manager, who was focused on equities and trading, asset allocation, no real planning on that side of the equation. Today, it's very different. We think clients, or we know clients, are more affluent and they're more informed. Today's client is looking for a bespoke strategy at the institutional level, not just investment advice, not just planning or portfolio investment management, but all of it combined. So those days of old are gone, and it's a new world. Ernst Young, EY's 2024 Global Wealth Research report just came out, about a year ago, and it was talking about 72% of high net worth clients now see professional and proactive advice as a team as the number one driver for advice value. That's very different from what it was 5 years ago, and it was just all about portfolio management for the high net worth. So teams matter. Portfolio construction, philanthropy, integrated strategy, family succession, it's all seamlessly integrated, and that's what we're building at Stellan, and that's where we see the world going. Nimble, humble, human, and deeply personal. The game's changed, and you need to be there.
Well, you talk about personal then. Just on that note, Jim, what are you seeing in terms of those changes? I mentioned there at the top of the boutique versus the big bank brand, and why we're seeing that shift perhaps to the smaller boutique operators such as yourselves.
Yeah, this shift is happening on a global level, Andrew, on both sides of the Pacific. I just spent the last 12 years working in the U.S. In the private wealth management space, particularly on the East Coast. And my wife and I are both Australian, so we've come back home. But the U.S. market in particular, independent wealth management firms are now managing nearly half of all the advised assets. That's up from 25% just a year ago. This is data from Torelli Associates in 2025. Australia is also in that play. Today, clients are voting with their feet. They want advice that's free of conflicts. Banks and the big brokerage houses have conflicts. They want transparency, and technology allows it to be far more transparent and nimble. And they want delivery based on team, not just an individual. They want a team model. So this is shifting, and you're seeing all the big institutions trying to run down this space, create a boutique environment. That's what we have at Stellan, and bottom line, it's an independent financial advisory model, and it's about collaboration, it's about purpose and process. This is the shift. Big brands can't compete with how nimble we are.
So what does that advice team look like then? And I might bring in the issue of AI here and how that works with the human element.
Look, I think technology matters, right? AI will play a part in the world going forward, but the big shift is really how you structure a team that has a lead advisor in front of it, a portfolio manager, and a chief investment officer next to that lead advisor, and then specialists around estate planning and governance and family, next generation. That's where you deliver what we call a client experience that's sustainable and repeatable. Look, I think AI and tech play a part, but tech is only in the middle of it all. So advice sits in between the technology, and great culture with great purpose and process delivers, no matter what the technology is doing underneath.
All right. Now, of course, also we're in that time frame where intergenerational wealth transfer is well and truly underway, Jim.
It's
So,
huge.
how are advisors and wealth management firms dealing with that?
Yeah, it's a huge issue, and it's a big opportunity. You've got in Australia alone, almost 3.5 trillion is expected to go over to the next generation by and change hands between now and 2040, and that's the Productivity Commission gave that report. And we're heading towards that. We have a shortfall in advisors, given some of the changes that's taken place here. Huge opportunity to create a next generation opportunity using different tools, new technologies, purpose driven, digitally fluent, and emotionally intelligent experiences. The supply of advisors in Australia is short. It's shrinking. The demand is exploding. So we have this weird model happening in Australia, almost barbell approach. We're investing heavily, and I think good firms are doing this into training and technology, making sure that the culture is right. So we have a model in place for multi-generation transfer for the decades to come. That's key.
Now, Jim, how critical is leadership? I'll point to here's a free plug for you. So I gather you've just written a book called Honk on leadership.
I have.
What have you discussed in it? And I guess the necessity of leadership in the current environment.
Well, when you think about technology and information, in the old days, leadership was in the domain of sort of a command and control model, almost a hierarchical model. In today's world, everybody has the same information or access to the same information that we have, that you have and I have. So great businesses are building themselves based on a leadership model that's kind of almost bottom up, where innovation, collaboration, and communication is happening at the forefront and coming all the way through. So businesses are led as a team, not just top down and command and control. Honk is based on a model where nature can sometimes teach us better than humans can, and it's about geese migrating and how they trade positions, they draft off each other, they use their sounds to create information flow back and forth. They do it better than we do. So Honk is a metaphor for how to create leadership in today's modern world. It's no longer the old days where we all sat in a room and thought we had all the answers. What's happening on the forefront of the business actually has the answers.